Now, it's my great pleasure to call upon the immediate past president of SAFCEC to start the process of inducting the new president. And I'm just wondering, Deputy President, if you can take some notes from this. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, please put your hands together for Thembinkosi Nzimande.
Thank you very much. As the immediate past president of SAFCEC, I've lost my blue light. I lost my bodyguards. Today I had to find my own seat where I was sitting. It's quite sad. Thank you very much. I'll just give a brief view of my presidency. I would like to welcome the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the Minister Thulas Nxesi. Thank you very much for blessing us with your presence. I'd like to welcome SAFCEC members, our guests. Thank you very much for being honoring us with your presence. Since we have the Deputy President in our midst, I thought it would be appropriate to talk about the path of difficult transitions. The President and Mr. Mfebe was involved in the CODESA process, which effectively formed South Africa. South Africa is a country that was formed through complex negotiations. We're a country that was a negotiated solution, but Deputy President, you didn't finish the job. And therefore you have unfinished business in the second part of the negotiated solution in South Africa, which is the economic transition of South Africa. SAFCEC has been an example of that complex negotiated solutions. The economic CODESA, if it will not happen at a macro level, it happens sector by sector, industry by industry. And I think, I'm not sure between Webster Mfebe and Mike Wiley who played Ruth Meyer and who played Mr. Ramaphosa, but through the process of a burning platform of something that was negative, which is the collusion case, that created a bad blending platform for two parties to come to the negotiating table. And out of that came a very positive process, which has led to a transformative solution and a settlement of our industry in terms of the journey of economic transformation. Both the VRP was a difficult, contested and negotiated solution, and our industry charter followed the same process. It was a tough negotiation, but it brought to it a solution for our industry that if we are actually an example of how every sector in this economy needs to come together and negotiate a solution around transformation. Thus, the job at hand is how do we begin to build an inclusive industry and an inclusive economy? And I think what SAFCEC has achieved is an example of that. The other point that I think for me, one of the greatest lessons at SAFCEC has been the issue of leadership. I mentioned earlier that one of the things that a leader must have, and this is something I hope I'm passing on to the future president, is never be in love with your own opinions as a leader. You have to have the ability to be convinced by others and change your mind when you hear arguments that make sense than yours. And that is fundamentally critical for leadership. And at SAFCEC, I've had the pleasure of leading a manco of some of the finest minds in construction. You know, I engage a lot and I look forward to my engagements with Werner Jelling in our manco. But it's been an absolute pleasure to be influenced and to be able to change each other's mind on complex issues about this industry and move forward. And I think for me, that is a critical issue, that you cannot transform anything when you're sitting on the outside. Before you can transform anything, you need a seat on the table. You need to get the relevant people on the table. And that's what SAFCEC is for this industry. And I appeal that hopefully after 2019, the Deputy President will continue that work. The challenge at South Africa is that every industry has got a white organization and a black organization. and they both vie for the attention of stakeholders, you know, in construction, there may be like 15 different bodies that claim to speak for contractors. Contractors have three issues. They need work, economic opportunity, and they need to get paid in time. So it cannot be that every man and his dog has got an organization that speaks for contractors. And I think we need to bring everybody to form a common voice. And I think if our stakeholder, which is government, can encourage the coming together of organizations in every sector to force around the table to have negotiated solutions around transformation in their industry. That is how we're going to change this economy. If you fragment the voices, it effectively becomes a fruit salad. So that is another lesson that I take forward, is that you cannot change anything screaming rhetoric from the outside. You have to get a seat on the table, and you have to have the tough negotiations. And the SAFCEC boardroom at SAFCEC office in our Manco has been an experience that has grown me tremendously, because that's where we've fixed this industry, argument by argument, until things improved. I would like to welcome my new president, Isabella Makota, and I know that she will take this journey even further than what we have started, and take it to new heights.